Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is my presentation on the skeletal system for Biology 102 with Dr. Hempel, and this is Olivia Daly. So what are some different kinds of skeletal systems? Mammals, including humans, have endoskeletons or internal skeletons. Our shape and ability to move rely on our skeleton. Our entire bodies are supported by our bones. On the other hand, arthropods, such as spiders, crustaceans, and insects, have an exoskeleton that protects and supports their bodies from the outside. So here we have endoskeletons versus exoskeletons. The photo on the left shows an X-ray of the human endoskeleton. X-rays are able to show the bones that lie beneath the skin, muscle, and other tissues. And at the photo on the right, we have the exoskeleton of an arachnid. So arachnids like this spider have exoskeletons, the hard shell on the outside of their bodies. You can see it's that black, shiny shell surrounding his limbs. So there are two sections of the skeletal system. It's classified into the axial skeleton, which includes the bones of the head, vertebrae, rib cage, and they are indicated here by these red lines. The other part of the skeleton is the appendicular skeleton. It includes the pectoral and pelvic girdles. The appendicular skeleton includes the appendages, which would be the limbs. So our forelimbs include the arms and hands, and the hind limbs would be the legs and feet in humans. Here in this photo, you can see the red lines point to where the skull is, the vertebral column, the rib cage, and So the skeletal system is made up of three different kinds of connective tissues. All tissues within the skeletal system have living cells within a matrix, extracellular matrix, which consists mainly of the protein collagen. So cartilage is one of the tissues, and the matrix of cartilage has an abundance of glycoproteins and elastic fibers. So in utero, baby skeletons start off as cartilage due to it being more flexible and elastic. As they grow, the cartilage matures into hard bone. And in full-grown people and mammals, cartilage covers the ends of the bones at the joints. Another type of connective tissue in the skeletal system is ligaments. And ligaments connect bones to one another at the end of the joints. The extracellular matrix of ligaments has wavy collagen fibers. And the final connective tissue in the skeletal system, and the most abundant, would be the bones. So mature bones have an extracellular matrix consisting of collagen. The collagen strands form crystals of calcium and phosphate. The inside of the bone is spongy, and it is called a spongy bone. Spongy bone is surrounded by the hard, compact bone. This image from our textbook shows the anatomy of the bone and where cartilage covers at the end. So here you can see, this is an actual photograph of a bone, and you can see where the spongy tissue lies in the center and the compact bone on the outside. And chondrocytes are the name for the living cells within the cartilage. And you can see here on the end of this joint would be a ball and socket joint, and cartilage covers the end there where it would connect. So that is the anatomy of our bones. What are the functions of the skeletal system? Well, it has several functions. First and foremost, the skeleton allows us to move. The contracting muscles attached to the end of our bones allow vertebrates to crawl, walk, run, jump, and many more other movements that we might do. The skeleton also serves as a frame for the body, supporting it and protecting the internal organs. For example, our skull protects our brain, and ribcage and sternum protect our heart, lungs, and other thoracic tissues, while the pelvic girdle helps to protect the organs within the abdomen. Another important function you might not think of is we have bones within our middle ears. And when those bones vibrate, it allows us to hear sounds. And one of the most important functions is within the bone marrow, red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets are produced. The skeleton also acts as a storage unit for important nutrients such as calcium and phosphorus. Skeletal tissue absorbs and releases these vitamins when it's necessary. So how do bones form? Well, there's 3 different kinds of bone cells. First, we have osteoblasts, and they produce bone cells within the cartilage. So in infants, they begin forming bone from the cartilage, and they continue to produce new bone cells throughout your entire life. And this allows your skeleton to grow, repair, and change depending on the demands of the person. Osteoclasts secrete an acidic mixture of enzymes that dissolve bone cells when the bone needs to change or repair. And then we have osteocytes, which are standard mature bone cells. So there are a few common diseases that occur within the skeletal system, and the most common would probably be osteoporosis. Osteoporosis typically occurs in older adults. The name translates to porous bones, and in a disease where osteoclasts are terminating more bone cells than the osteoblasts are producing. Women are more likely to get osteoporosis than men, and it affects about 10% of women and 2% of men. This disease makes bones more brittle and the event of a broken bone more likely if a victim were to fall or experience another type of trauma. So in this picture, which is from our textbook, you can see the difference in the normal bone, which has hard tissue right here, and then in the bone with osteoporosis, you can see the little pores where those osteoclasts are killing the other cells. Speaking of broken bones, I thought I would just throw this in here. When I was 12, I was in an accident and I broke the radius and ulna in my left arm. And here's an x-ray. You can see right here where the breaks were. They broke completely through both bones. And for treatment, they actually drilled into the bone marrow and inserted titanium rods that were the length of my bone. And that just, it just secured the bone so it would be stable during the healing process. And then once the bones were repaired, they were able to just remove the pins. Another very, very common bone disease in adults is arthritis. It's another common disease involving the skeletal system, and it is inflammation of the joints and can be very painful and debilitate a person greatly depending on the severity. And in this picture, you can see how the joints in this woman's hands have become swollen, and it affects their ability to bend properly. And here's my works cited. Of course, we have the textbook, article on arthritis, x-ray pictures, and the spider picture. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something about the skeletal system.